So another example, if I chose a 5-minute chart, one candle is going to represent 9:30 to 9:35. That next candle is going to represent 9:35 to 9:40, and so on. Got it? Capiche? All right, so a time frame equals how much time each candle represents. That is what a time frame is. Remember that definition. Okay, so here's where OHLC comes in. Every completed, that's the key word, every completed candle gives us 4 prices. It gives us an open price, a high price, a low price, and a close price. Completed though, so if I do a 5-minute interval candle, that means it has to that whole 5 minutes has to go by before that candle is complete, before it gives me an open price, a high price, a low price, and a closed price. Now, open means the price at the beginning of the candle's time period. So if I have a 5-minute interval candle and I open it at 9:30, the beginning of that time was 9:30. So whatever price that or TJP was, or whatever stock that I'm looking at, when 9:30 opens, that is the price. That's the open price when it starts, when that candle starts. Okay. H is the highest price reached during that period. So you have to wait that whole 5 minutes before you know what the highest price was during that 5 minutes. That's why I said it's every completed candle that gives you these 4 price readings. Low is, of course, the lowest price during that time frame of whatever time frame that you pick. And close is the price at the end of that time frame. All right. So open is the price when that time interval starts. High is the highest price during that time interval. Low is the lowest price during that time interval. And close is the price that ends, the price that is at the end when that interval closes. All right. So let's say these right here are the numbers of a 5-minute interval. This was the price activity in a 5-minute interval. So when it started, it was at 10. So when it started, it was at 10. So $10 was the price that it was when I started. And this will be, like I said, a 5-minute candle. And it was from 9:30 to 9:35. So at 9:30, the price was $10. All right. The highest out of here would be $10.25. So that will be the price, because within my 5 minutes, my 5-minute candle, $10.25 was the highest price that I could see here. All right. My lowest would be $9.98. And then my close, surprisingly, is the same thing as the highest, which is not always normally the case, because sometimes it don't end high. But in this case, it would also be $10.25, because that's the price that it was when 9:35 came. So at 9:30 it was 10. At 9:35 it was $10.25. And $10.25 just so happened to be the highest price within this 5-minute interval. And then $9.98 just happens to be the lowest price that was in this interval. So now you know what open, high, low, and close is. Open is the price that started during this time frame. And in this time frame, or in this example, it was 5 minutes. So at 9:30 it was 10. The highest was the $10.25. The lowest was the $9.98. And at 9:35, at the end of this time interval, it was $10.25. So that was the closing price. All right. So now we're gonna move to the colors because it's like, Tony, I be seeing candles, but they don't be in black. Most of the time they be in red and green, right? Green and red. Well, let's talk about it. Okay, so meet your green candle. And I'm gonna just give you a little overview, quick overview. This big rectangle part here is called your body. This stick that's sticking out the top of the body is called your upper wick. And then this stick that's sticking down at the bottom of the body is called the lower wick. And you're going to understand what that means. All right. Now, let's say that, and I'm only going to do it for the green. I mean, I'm going to show the red too, but we working on the green one right now. So let's say that at 9:30, I'm doing a 5-minute interval. And at 9:30 is when I started. And when I started, the price said $10. So I'm going to just, sorry, I can barely put it. $10. I put O for open and it was at $10. All right. At the end, at 9:35, it ended up the price being $10.30. So C equals $10.30. All right. Now, when the price ended, you can see that it was higher than when it opened. Okay, so $10.30 is more than $10. $10.30 is more than $10. That is what makes a candle green. If the closing price is higher than the open price, so if I end up with a higher price than when it opened, that makes it a green candle. So remember, on a green candle, I ended up higher than when I opened it. And I want you to think of it as, I got more money at the end than when I started. And that is green. That's a good way to remember. Okay? So when the closing price is higher than the open price, that makes it a green candle. And I don't want you to think too much into this. That's all I want you to think. If the closing price is higher than the open price, the candle is green. Got it? Got it. Now, on this green candle, you will mostly know that the closing price will be higher on the body than the open price because the closing price is higher than the open price. That also lets you know that this is a green candle. Got it? All right, so back to this example with the $10, $10.05, $9.98, $10.12, $10.20, $10.15, $10.25. Now, we already mapped it out over here, which was our open price was $10. Our closing price was $10.25. In here, we said that our lowest price was $9.98. That means that on that lower wick is going to be $9.98 because that's our low price, our lowest price. That lower wick will be your lowest price during that interval. The lowest price that displayed on the screen during that time frame is your lowest price. So in that example, $9.98 would be on your lower wick. I'm not going to write it because my hand can't fit all the way up in there without messing something up. Now, we said in this example that $10.25, even though it was the closing price, it also was the highest price that was during this time frame. So we would put that on the higher wick. Get it? The highest price goes on the higher wick. The lowest price goes on the lower wick. No tricks. The closing price was more than the open price, so it goes higher on the body. The open price was lower than the closing price, so it goes lower on the body. That's it. Simple, right? I thought it was rocket science too, but it's actually easy as hell. You see that? That's a green candle. As long as the closing price is higher than the damn open price, that's a green candle. Who would have figured? Y'all, we know what a green candle is. Now, that's crazy. Okay? Now, what I don't want you to take from this, just because it was green, that don't mean buy. Just because you saw one green candle, that don't mean buy. That don't mean buy. That don't mean deposit your money and buy. Just because you seen